I would say what I'm still learning, but I kind of knew to begin with, that if you want to do something, if you're thinking of starting a business, you either do it or not do it. Don't go halfways.
Yeah.
Just go big if you can.
Welcome to Island Influencers, where we share stories of successful business owners, experienced professionals, entrepreneurs, and community leaders based or with influence in the Isle of Man. This podcast is brought to you by Thornton Chartered Financial Planners, because great financial planning has the power to change your life. Now here's your host, Sharon Sutton.
Welcome to another episode of Island Influencers. This week I chat with Kasia Chudy, a veterinary surgeon and the founder of the Natural Animal Clinic in Ballasalla, where she and her team bring a fresh and holistic approach to animal care. Originally from Poland, Kasia studied veterinary medicine at the University of Environmental and Life Sciences in Wrocław. She moved to the UK before discovering the Isle of Man and making the Isle of Man her home. The Natural Animal Clinic specialises in alternative treatments such as acupuncture and herbal medicine, helping animals heal in a way that goes beyond traditional veterinary care. In our conversation, she shares her inspiring career path, the challenges of introducing holistic treatments in a conventional field, and the rewarding moments that make it all worthwhile. We also dive into entrepreneurship, resilience, and the importance of taking bold steps both in business and in life. So let's dive in. Well, welcome to the Island Influencer studio to Kasia Chudy, who's agreed to come along and be our guest today. Now, Kasia, you've started a fairly new and exciting practice in Ballasalla.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, called the Natural Animal Clinic. So I'm looking forward to finding out all about you and where you've come from, and learning all about your business and you, of course. So I wonder if you could tell our listeners where you grew up, where you came from, and how you end up in the Isle of Man.
Yeah, well, it's going to be quite a long, lengthy story, but I'll try to cut it short.
Sure.
So I'm from Poland, more like a Midwest region, you might say. Small town, around 80 to 100,000, I think, people. In between two big towns, so we kind of always had a bit of a traffic either one way or the other to see more civilization, I guess.
Right.
But yeah, quite nice and calm, small town.
Yeah.
Nothing extra crazy, and did all my schools there.
Yes, so I saw you went to a university there.
Yeah,
I couldn't pronounce it, but University of Environment and Life Sciences.
Yeah, that was in Wrocław, which is like one of the towns that is close by to my town. So it's almost like probably say like 60 miles. It's 100 kilometers, a little bit over 100 kilometers. And so that was the first school that I went away from home. But I had a friend with me who lived with me this whole first year, and she was in high school with me. So that was really, really nice to have a well-known friend.
Yeah, leaving home and then moving to a university.
Yeah. And so, and then did 6 years of uni.
Which was time to study, isn't it, for a vet?
Yeah, quite a long time.
So you did all the modern veterinary medicine?
Yes, yeah, like all normal. Like I've started as a normal person.
Okay.
So yeah, the whole 6 years of normal school and placements during that time, and I was coming back actually to like every summer. I was doing some placement back in my hometown or in the other. Almost like a second hometown that my parents had a business there. So we spent the family time was always split between those two cities. So I did either placement in that town or in my own hometown.
Right. Okay. And how long were placements typically?
Well, it was usually just I think it was a couple of weeks only that you had to do it, but I was there the whole summer anyway because I was so eager to go.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Go and work because my whole maybe not all, but most of my school time, I was just so eager to finally finish and be independent, you might call it, but it was not so much driven by like freedom. I was never over controlled or anything. It was just more like me thinking like I finally want to make my own money and let them
but
be. And
you could have chosen a shorter course there.
I guess.
So why animals?
Well, I always loved animals. It was always meant to be animals in some form or shape. But I really, really loved monkeys and Africa, and I always wanted to go and study biology and just go like, watch the Gorillas in the Mist. And
the other one, Sigourney Weaver, the story of Diane. Yeah, okay.
So that was my initial
Uganda?
dream.
Was it Uganda?
Rwanda, I think it was, but they're like very much. I think it was on the border of these two because there were clashes of the armies. Diane Fossey, yes. So that was my dream. But then my dad said, like, how can you make money of that? And you better find something that will make money. So the veterinary was. I remember being in what's it called, not elementary school, but the
secondary
kindergarten.
Kindergarten, right?
So then I remember it's always saying that I'm going to be a vet, and then it kind of like drifted away to just anything.
Okay, super. So what brought you to the UK?
Well, then after uni, I was working in my hometown in that same place that I was doing all the placements because they've asked me to come back, which at that time I was thinking, no, I'm just going to go abroad. I wanted to go like Thailand or somewhere and do volunteer work. But in the end, I found I've met my partner then, and so I'm okay. I'm gonna stay because I'm not gonna go away now and all that. So I went to work to that in my hometown for 3 years, and then after the third year, I was just getting a bit restless, you might call it, and I just wanted to do something else.
Yeah, so it's a big culture of graduates from Poland moving. A lot to the UK, actually.
Yeah. Well, I think one part of it was like, I don't know how it was to others. I haven't met actually a lot of vets my age that was from Poland and that would travel abroad to UK at least. I think in some ways it could be finances, some ways it could be more like I guess education in a way, because to me it was a big one thing was just getting restless, wanting to go somewhere.
Yeah, sure.
So and UK was almost like the easiest way to go, with being the language and like that is well known and I knew.
Yeah,
so it seemed like that.
You have lots of option. Sorry, at school you do a lot of English then.
We did, but it was all like, to me, because when I was in again, I think it started in elementary school. We had always had some kind of language, but we had German. So I was learning German for at least 6 years, if not even more, without anything English-wise. But I think because English is so, like, you hear it everywhere, you hear it, the music, and you watch movies, and you kind of, you're not even wanting, you are exposed to it. And I think I was always just had a bit of a good ear for language, I think, maybe. So I just picked up the basics, and then when I actually went to school, when we were actually taught English, I was always good. I had good grades without even having to really strive for it. But I think until you actually move and you have to live in the country, you don't know nothing about language, because it has to be like real life.
Yeah, so I noticed you moved to the UK. Was it after COVID?
No, that was before. That was 2019. So almost, like 2 years before.
Yes.
Because we went to Lancaster, where I got the job.
Was that Vets for Pets?
That was Vets for Pets, yeah. Because that was you could apply online, and we had all the interviews and all that online. So I didn't have to actually go to see anyone before they agreed to have me. So that was handy, because everything was already prepared, and I just went in, and next day, I think, because we first arrived in London, because I had to go to to Royal College to just sign the whole like registration, I guess you would say.
So you had to join a register. Right, okay.
So there was a little bit of a process to it. I can't even remember what it was, but there was a group of people that applied, and we just had that meeting, and there was something to sign. And I think I was so stressed at that point that I just kind of, so it was all a blur.
And so your UK career started.
Yes, yeah. And then we took a train to Lancaster, landed in Lancaster, had our like place. And
so your partner's coming with you at this point?
Yes.
Yeah. Is he a vet as well?
No. He's not a vet. He's he studied industrial design, so he's a designer, you might call it. But he's doing lots of things, and so I guess you can't really put him in a box. But not a vet.
No. Well, yes.
Luckily, I'm very excited.
Nobody wants to be put in a box. So what brought you to the Isle of Man?
Well, it was actually very unexpected because being in Lancaster, we didn't know that Isle of Man existed. Even
why would you?
And we used to go to Hisham to just sit on the cliff and just relax from like on the weekends. And we saw that boat is coming, and I was like, I wonder where that boat is going. And then I looked it up on the map, and there you go, there's Isle of Man. And we are still cyclists, but we were cycling a lot at that time. So I'm like, well, let's just go for a long weekend. Just take our bikes and just make it a trip, and then we'll be back. So not knowing I didn't do much of a research really. So it was more like, let's just buy a ticket and go.
The roads in the Isle of Man for cyclists are known as character building.
Yes, you're definitely high. So, and that was, I think, April or something. So the weather was not great. It was almost like now. So
April's good months.
I think that year it must have been not so great because I remember it being very, very windy and a little bit drizzly. And yeah, so I think we had one really good day, and then the rest of the 3 days was quite challenging. But we liked it enough to to come. Like when we came back to Lancaster, I then looked up like what's happening on the island, what's available, is there anything work-wise? And sure enough, there was an advert for a job in Medicor, which turned out to be run by someone who I knew his family, right? Because his family is actually from that town that my parents have the business. So that was at our second hometown.
Gosh.
So it was super bizarre.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and then I used to go do my placement in his cousin's practice.
It's a small world, isn't it?
Very small. So yeah, then that was it really. Like I called and then
Okay, and you stayed with them for like 2 years, and decided to set your own practice up.
No, at that time we were technically supposed to be leaving. So that was I worked through COVID, and then COVID kind of went by, and worked a bit, and then we were supposed to just move abroad. But one thing was that after COVID, things changed in the world, and we kind of felt like, actually, it doesn't seem so safe anywhere. Not so much health-wise, but more like the political changes and everything. We kind of thought that we don't really see that a better alternative, I guess.
We seem to be isolated quite nicely.
Yeah,
sometimes when things are going a bit awry in Europe.
Yeah.
How close is Poland to Ukraine and Russia?
We have we share a border with Ukraine, so it's really close. But my family being on the other side, not so much affected. But there's we can feel the effect because there's lots of immigrants from Ukraine. But it's been going on for a long time, so it's not like it's a new thing. But there was just a big new influx of people and families coming over and all that.
Terrible, it's been very tough.
Yeah. So
so you decided to stay here?
Yeah, we decided to stay here and make the best out of it.
Good.
And that was the time when I shifted my thinking even more into other ways of thinking.
Yeah, because it's an unusual practice. I've never come across alternative medicine in veterinary practices before. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing all about this.
Yeah, so well, it's been on my radar for a long, long time because it's actually that was my next maybe I guess you might call it a bit of a shock because when I was doing all my studies, it like when you are in the bubble of people like-minded and it's all most of it is online because that's how you can get access to it, and you kind of don't think that this is such a unknown thing, I guess.
Yeah, it's not mainstream, is it?
Yeah.
Not that I know, but to offer Chinese traditional medicine and
it's much more known and utilized and a little bit more normalized in the States, where most of my training was with the it's called Chi University in States in Florida. So they've been established for like 20 plus years.
So did you go there to do some studying then?
Luckily I didn't have to because the first year that they did UK UK session was when I joined.
Oh, I see.
And that was right after COVID, so that was the first time, because before that they only did
in
States.
person. It's amazing, isn't it, how many fields that's applied to. That's just the latest one I've heard of, but so many businesses have changed their practice.
Yeah, and just
the result of
access to people.
Video conferencing, yeah.
So, and that was in part online, so it was recorded lectures, and part of it was in person, but in UK, so I only had to go.
So I'm curious, how do you stick a needle in an animal without...
to be very fast.
So is it an in out as opposed to leaving the needle in?
No, you leave them in. It just depends on the tolerance of the patient for how long they're going to stay. Yeah. But most of the time they stay in very nicely. It's from anywhere from 5 to 30 minutes. And some patients will even fall asleep and they'll just not even know that they are still there. And it depends. Then you go deeper into the actual medicine and the reasoning why this happens and why you can use them for a little bit longer or shorter period of time, because there's that intention behind time that they are staying in as well.
So you ever stick a needle in yourself just to?
Well, technically it applies to everyone, every creature. So my first patient was myself and my partner. So I did a lot of that, and a couple of my family members as well, and my family dogs as well, and then it kind of the ball started rolling. I got more and more brave, I guess, to get it out there and then do it. But surprisingly, a lot of them are tolerating it very, very well. No issues, or you just have to adjust. And it's like with children, I guess, as well. So you kind of have to work around them and make it work.
So you started this business last February?
Yes, it's actually our anniversary.
Just give this podcast a timestamp. This is going out probably not, it won't be in February, but we're recording. It's in a beautifully sunny February afternoon. Mm-hmm. That's amazing. What do you have a specialty in animals? Because it's a massive animal kingdom, isn't it? Yes. I mean, what do you sort of specialize in?
I'd say mostly dogs, because that's what I was always exposed to the most. I always had dogs and around in the family and in like everyone, like every family member and every friend.
Yeah, big dogs, small dogs,
mostly
pedigree dogs.
Big. I think my family usually aims for pedigree dogs for some reason. My dad especially is like, it has to be a pedigree dog. But we did actually have a couple of stray dogs even that we kind of tamed, you might say, because we always had a bit of a piece of land where our dogs used to live, and we used to spend whole summers there. So there was plenty of time to have access to some other dogs from around from the villages. And my grandpa actually was a bit of a magnet to stray dogs, and then
Must have had a pocket full of bacon scraps or something.
Potentially, yeah. So yeah, dogs. And I always wanted a pony, but no one ever wanted to get me one, so I never had one. And
bad luck.
yeah, and no one really liked cats in my family for some reason. I don't think they even had opportunity to interact with cats, but somehow they didn't like.
Do you treat horses these days?
Yes, horses.
Yeah, I was going to say. I just thought.
Yeah, horses are great actually. With all of them are great with acupuncture, but on horses because they are such energetic creatures and they respond quickly. And you can see the reactions quite quickly on them.
Right.
I do go we put a stop on it for a little bit for the period of winter. I guess I did because I've been a bit slack lately, but with them. But I'm going to old horses rescue.
Yes,
and doing some of them. So I usually pick some.
Oh, they'll love that.
Oh yeah, and then they are just such good horses.
Yeah, real old heroes, aren't they?
Yeah. So yeah, I love seeing their reactions because it's really really cool.
Brilliant
to see. So
any animals you wouldn't treat? What's the most unusual one you have treated so far?
Well, I have treated a baby again. We might call it a young wallaby.
Right.
Yeah, that's actually a nice. It doesn't end that great.
That's not unusual in the Isle of Man.
Yeah, I guess so.
The treat one is probably.
Yeah. Because I'm friends with two of the other Polish vets that are working in Argwijn, and they are taking care of the Kurgs Wildlife Park, and they've had a baby wallaby that they nursed, and it was getting bigger and bigger. I think she was maybe 2, 3, more than that. Probably about up to 6 months, I think.
Right.
And she started showing some neurological issues. So losing a little bit of strength in her back end, not using the leg very well and all that. So we did try her with acupuncture and with a little bit of massage, physiotherapy and all that. And she was getting better for a period of time. But then it looks like she just has either a congenital issue or it's something deeper down because it's just getting worse.
It's quite a small gene pool, though, I guess.
Yeah, quite troubled. So,
oh dear. Okay.
So yeah, but the reaction was nice, and initially she was improving, but it's just sometimes you can't force.
No, it's kind of an interesting point, though, isn't it? I mean, what do you do with a feral wallaby population? Do you introduce more to decrease the health issues, or
I don't know what
interesting moral issue?
Yeah, it is
the moral dilemma, isn't it?
I think that's why that's
no one wants
decisions are not being made. Yeah, exactly.
I can see. It's a hard one. Okay, well, I'm going to move on to some other questions that I ask everybody. So, I mean, if you don't mind me asking, and my day job is not being a broadcaster, but I'm a financial planner. So, what was your earliest memory of money, and how was money for you growing up? I got in the part before about you not getting a pony bought for you, so
I don't think that was financially based. It was more that. Don't know, I guess no one really knew what to do with a pony, so they didn't want to have that trouble. But finances in our town, it was, I would say it was a bit like town in my family. It was quite wavy, I would say. We did have some challenging times, so I was always aware, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good word.
That it's hard to get money. You have to work hard, spend a lot of time doing this, doing the work. I mean, and also like to be, how do you call it? Like very mindful of how you treat the money, because it can. Maybe not that it will go away, but it's more that you have to know what to do with it so it just doesn't drift off, I guess.
Yeah, it's easy to spend it, isn't it?
Yeah. So that was always my kind of... so how do you... reckless behavior was always...
So how do you stop that then? Do you have a budget? Do you...
Well, yes, I try to have a budget. I don't know if I'm great at it, but I'm keeping track. But I like to just know where I am, basically. So
Sure.
keep checking what's where.
Yeah, and I suppose in the business that's got to be, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, to cover your costs
Yeah.
and things.
And instead of being afraid and not looking at it,
Yeah.
just do it.
yeah, just,
Write it down.
yeah, very good. And of all the things you've done so far, what's given you the most fulfillment? Is it this, complementary new sorts of treatments that you do, or would it be back in traditional
I
veterinary
think
medicine?
definitely this, and I think I'm still like building up to the point that I will actually be very happy with what I can offer, because there's just a lot more also that I want to like get into and then be able to offer, but it takes that building of the awareness, and I might want to do something, learn some kind of a treatment modality, but it may not be of such a use at the time at this place for these kind of patients.
Yeah, do you? I mean, so for anybody who's thinking of starting their own business, what would you give them as your number one tip and what you've learned so far?
I would say what I'm still learning, but kind of new to begin with, that if you want to do something, if you're thinking of starting a business, you either do it or not do it. Don't go halfways.
Yeah.
Just go big if you basically just go in if you really want to do that something. You want to try it out, and you would wish, like, let's say 10 years ahead of time, you would think, oh gosh, I wish I'd have done it, even though if it's gonna, regardless of if it's gonna work or if it's not gonna work, then just
try it.
make your decision, basically.
Yeah.
Don't wait until you start regretting.
Yeah.
Not doing
good.
it.
That's okay. That's good. And if you could go back and give yourself, your 18-year-old self, a piece of advice, what would it be?
I'd say work on the people pleasing and just be more of yourself, not do things just because someone wants you, or you think someone wants you to do this or that, and just be more of yourself, and don't worry that someone's gonna think something about you, because everyone always thinks something about you.
Yeah, that's great.
And you can't really
Absolutely.
help with that. No.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And what do you do to relax? Have you been out biking much?
Not lately. We've kind of not done I've not done anything for a good half a year, I think. But that's one thing that I do to relax if weather allows. Other thing is just plain tea and blankie and just listening to music, or reading a good book.
Sounds very cozy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I'm waiting for the weather to shift, but sitting in the sun, that's my very most favorite thing to do.
Yeah.
Anywhere just in the sun.
Yeah. Even in the Isle of Man.
Yes.
So have you come across any particular challenges in what you do in the Isle of Man that it has that from other places? What would you say they are?
Yeah, I think in terms of that modality that I'm offering, the biggest challenge, I think, is that bringing that awareness and building the present. I don't know how to say it.
Brand?
Yeah, maybe like building the brand, but it's also the very fact of, like you said, you didn't know that this like acupuncture for animals exists, and how can you use it, and in what circumstances, and whether they're gonna tolerate the needles or not. That's the biggest challenge, that in telling people about this, getting this across.
So how do you do that on your website? Do you put case studies on there?
Not so much case studies. I think probably that might be useful, but it just takes so much time to prepare all those things that I just find not having time to do this actually. But I have tried. I've been to a couple of the shows, the Royal Manx show and the agriculture show. So I've been then giving a demo.
Sure. Well, we'll put this podcast out. So obviously you hopefully get some inquiries. But I mean, that's what I mean. If people don't know what you do, how do you tell them? Put it on your website and drive the traffic through via social media posts. But it all takes time.
Yes, exactly. And then I think a lot of it is word of mouth.
Definitely.
And then having some people that have actually seen the results on their own pets or on their own themselves.
Yeah.
And then they can spread the word out, which isn't always 100% that
sure.
people will believe them, I guess, and then will actually carry that forward. But it's one of the biggest helpful things, I think, the word of mouth. And
that's a good thing. Okay, so what plans have you got next for the Natural Animal Clinic?
Well, I'm trying to just kind of I've just learned not to plan too much ahead and not set my mind on one thing, because like I said, sometimes it's that I have the drive to learn this or that thing, but then actually in the end I end up not being able to use it because there's just
too specialist, maybe.
Potentially there's just too small pool for cases that would want to use that modality, that even too small to have the disease, let alone to want to use an alternative.
The Isle of Man, it's difficult to have a niche, really.
I think so. And then especially if it's something that is new, then and on the ethics side, and then you can't really. I can't make someone come to me to have an alternative treatment rather than go and have a Western normal treatment.
Do you find that people come to you sort of as a last resort then?
A lot of the times, yes.
Yeah, okay.
And so I think part of what I'm trying to do to build that awareness that this is that medicine that would be great as an actual preventative measure, as an actual like long life building strategy, like the not even thinking just about the acupuncture, but that nutrition side and the herbal side, and just working on the body. Natural ability to maintain health rather than wait until something is actually like so diseased.
So do you sort of collaborate with any? You mentioned Albane. Do you collaborate with them? Maybe put posters up in their surgery. I don't know, because you only sit there sometimes, don't you, with your animal? I think no.
Yeah, I do. They do know about this because I did welcoming with them. So I did give them a couple of maybe not talks, but like they know that I'm doing this. So my leaflets are there, and then some of them are really good at handing out some business cards and that if they think that patient would benefit from it. So that is one thing. And I'm while working there, I was also not that I was making anyone, but I was also like trying to make the people aware that there are other things to complement the treatment, and it's that's another thing, that it's also to complement. It doesn't have to be this or the other. It can enhance the.
All right, Kasia, that's really helpful.
Treatment.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
So, just a few fun questions to finish off. I mean, any fun things that you listen to or read, or podcasts, or I don't know, boxed sets that you could recommend to our listeners? I don't know, sources of inspirational reading even.
Well, I don't know if they're fun. Like, they're fun for me, but I think lately it's a lot of either business related or acupuncture related things. So it may not be so good to for the general public. But well, business wise, I like to just go through YouTube and then just watch some people the podcasts or
anyone favorite.
Some of the well, they are fairly new and they're like a different scale as well. So it's a bit, you can't really compare to what I'm doing. So I sometimes even wonder, like, if I guess you can sometimes extract some ideas from even like different types of business models, but
everyone's got an opinion.
Yeah. But there are a couple of podcasts like the Harmozy. So there's Alex Harmozy and then his wife, forget it, Layla. So they have some like really business related and like leadership and and things like that. And veterinary related or acupuncture related. There are a couple of great ones. There's a lady that is an acupuncturist in Canada, and she's helping about human acupuncturists. There's not a lot of things for vet acupuncturists and having their own business as well. So that's why I'm leaning more towards like just general
best practice.
Yes, exactly. Because there's nothing really that specific for me, but I can always extract a little bit of help from those. Yes.
Yeah. So what's your favourite quote? Have you got a favourite quote?
Yes, I do. And my favorite quote is that everyone knows something you don't. And that's apparently Bill, I might be saying it wrong, Bill Ney. I think the science guy, he was a show host in States a while back. But yeah, I just love that quote. No matter who said it, I just think that this is it just gives me that reminder that you can learn from everyone. And
so where can our listeners go to find out all more about you?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of information on Facebook and Instagram at the same time. I tend to post the same things there, here and there, and the website.
Brilliant. Well, we'll put all the links in the show notes. So it's naturalanimal.clinic, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's wonderful. Thanks so much, Kasia, for coming in today and telling us. It's so fascinating.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening this far. I hope you found this episode to be valuable. If so, I'd like to ask you for a small favour. Would you please go to Apple Podcasts and leave a 5-star review, because that's one of the best ways for others to find the series. And please send a link to the podcast to 3 friends or colleagues who know they'll find it helpful. That way, we can spread the word about how great a place the Isle of Man is to live and work, and help spread some positivity. Thanks again for tuning in and being part of our great community. I'll see you next time. Island Influencers is a fortnightly podcast. Make sure you don't miss the next episode by clicking the follow button on your podcast platform. A big thanks to the producer Catherine Watts from Social Cues and editor Martin Bamford at Bear Content, and thank you for listening.